Good morning everybody. So today it's the nice day up here. Today I will talk about the bears. The bears is waking up. It's the end of the winter sleep. So today, the day after the 13th, tomorrow it is the 14th of April, which is the first summer day. So this was the picture of my place 2 days ago. And you look carefully on the snow, and then you see the picture of today is looking like this. So there's melted up approximately half a meter here, and a lot of the snow on the roof has disappeared. So this was about 1 hour ago I took this picture. So you see the sun is up here shining. But what this is the place where I'm talking from now. So this is a little bit in the high north for those of you that has not been seeing this earlier. But I noticed that several of you have been doing participation in the lectures which I'm making. So I think some of you are familiar with this map now. So this is a bear cub looking out on the white plants outside, white fields outside his den, crawling out and have a look. Noting the small claws and such. This is a small bear cub, approximately 5 kilo heavily. So I will use photos that is made by Steinar Vikan, and some of them is also mine, and then there's some other special photos, but basically there's the two of us that made these photos. Here you see an old stone carving, and it's been painting red. Later it's been painted red. So here you see moose, you see reindeers, you see people. That's a reindeer, and you see a bear. Actually, that one there is a bear. So in this was about 5,000 years old. Stone carving, and people has been hunting and caring and observing the animals through the period after the glaciers up here. And as well in Northern Europe, the bear has been a very important part of the culture, much more actually important than today by several things. We will talk about these things a bit later in another lecture. But what happens, 14th of April has been regarded as the first day of summer, more or less all over the Northern Europe. The Vikings had definitively this almanac that was actually a wooden stick that was with a lot of signs, and this wooden stick with the signs was the almanac telling when the days was going and what to do the different days and such. And the first day of summer was regarded as well the day that the bears is waking up, more or less. And this is actually quite a lot of places, even in the high mountain of Romania. The April days are the awakening of the bear. So there's basically it's the male bears and the females without cubs, without children. I use the word cub for the babies of the youngster of the bear. So cub means the babies. So basically it's the males and the females that start to walk on the snow about the middle of April. The females with the cubs usually come out a little bit later, in the beginning of May, when the snow has really melted down. So you see the bear track. So here you have the track of the paths, and here you see the path of the claw, just to see, so you can compare to what you actually did see here. So here you see the footprints of the 4 feet, the back feet, 4 feet, back feet, 4 feet, back feet, and how the bear is walking. And you can see this is the back foot of the bear, just like our inside of the foot here. And you know what side this should be. This is the front limb, or the hand of the bear, so to say. And you notice this is the one that you have there. So you don't know which side of the bear is this. Here you see the back foot of the bear, how this is making the footprint. That was just to show you how the footprints. So when we are walking in the forest, or driving snowmobiles, or walking going skiing, then we register the different footprints of the different bear, the measuring the size of the foot, and try to find out which individual which is there. And then we collect the shit when they have been making their poo, and then we collect hairs or other things. This is a picture I took 2 years ago, and that was actually taken on the early morning, 5 o'clock, in the 14th of April. So just now, yesterday I went home about 12 o'clock in the night, and then there is a little bit more light on the sky, and tomorrow there will be much more light on the sky even during the night. The stars is still visible, and there was a little bit of aurora borealis yesterday, but it will be suddenly much more light now. So in a couple of weeks there will be white nights. The sun is not up above the horizon, but there is no really heavy night anymore. Here you see the footprints. You see? So this is a female. That's my footprints, by the way, and this is the track from a snowmobile. But you see something there. This is a footprint from a cub. So this is the mother, and here has the cub been walking, and it walked on this frozen ice, more or less frozen ice. And here you see the footprints of the mother, and here you see the footprint of the cub, and that's my footprints. Okay, so you can see this track on the 14th of April. Well, back a little bit in time, one day in October usually. So the bear will go to the den and start their winter sleeping. It basically in October, but they start to prepare to make the den already in the end of September usually. So first the females go to sleep, especially the female that is having cubs, and the females that is pregnant. And then the lonely females and the males go sleeping thereafter. So when you're walking in the forest in the autumn, you can pass around, and when you're looking, you can see signs from the bear that has been digging, and you suddenly can see a big digging. And then this is, of course, a bear that has made digging for a den. The den is in a way the cave, the house of the bear during the winter. So I call this den. And here you see this is a male bear that has been digging out the gravel, the soil, and the small stones from under this small heap, and then making a test. This then was not used. It was just a test digging. So one bear maybe make 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 such test digging before it finds the place that it likes. So it looks a little bit like this. It's quite much material that has been digged out, and they can dig all this material out usually within 1 or 2 days. So they are efficiently worker. But the bear is so this is how this den, the same den, is looking inside. So this young lady is inside to test out. This was made by a quite big bear. And we know that the bear did not use it because he was not putting his furnitures inside. So usually he make a madras, all the bears make a madras, collecting the berries, the moss, and other plant material to put inside to make a madras to sleep upon. The bear is not using this den because it didn't like it, because maybe it was too wet, or felt too wet, or felt too noisy, or something. It was not feeling safe and such. So in most northern Europe, the bear is not using the same cave or the same den any more than only one winter. So they make a new den every new year, every winter. This is also because they want to get rid of parasites and such things, and then it should not be so easy to find. And one of the things is that the female with the cubs don't use the same den, because the den is smelling, and the male bears can be able to find the den with the young bears and kill the young bears. That is one of the things he is afraid of. So the mother bear is afraid of the cubs, like every mother, and then take care of making a new den. But when in history earlier, when there was a lot of bears, more than 5,000 bears here in Norway, then they was making also dens in the caves and such things to a higher degree. But nowadays, they make a new den every year. Here you see a bear cave, and this is a male, and you can see it has the bear has been pulling down trees and making a little bit of fighting to start up the process of morning gymnastics. So this is a picture from the spring. So the bear den can be quite big, but most of the bear dens is having very small openings. So sometimes they dig into a heap of moss, just like this, or they dig into a pile of sand or gravel, and sometimes they only make the den under the tree that has been falling down. So under the root of the falling tree, they can make their den. Most female dens is having small openings, and a lot of the males as well. So even a male that is much bigger than me make a much smaller opening than I need to climb into. So I don't manage to climb into the opening of the den of some of the bears at all. So this is the madras inside. They can be made by different type of materials, but it's all type of wooden and berries, the bushes of the berries and such things. Some bears is making a fantastic nice bed, and other bears is not making so nicely beds. This is a model of 2 newborn bear cubs. So the bear is making the birth to the babies in the end of December, January. When they are born, they are about 200, 350 grams. Sometimes they can be up to about 500 grams. But usually this, and sometimes they can be very small, just like 50 grams, depending on different circumstances. Normally they are about approximately 20 centimeters long. And they are naked and blind, just like dog pups. But they grow incredibly quick. So here you see a photo from a mother inside a cave on the 28th of February, inside her den. And here you see the head and the nose of the female. And here's the front leg. Her hand, so to say, and the back is here. So she is like curling herself. Okay. And then the same day, this camera made the shot and we can see the young cub, the young bear that she has been developed. This has quite big eyes now, good claws, nice fur and such. And here's the head of the mother, and this is the mother around the cub. Actually, this female had 2 cubs. So here you see the eye of the bear. So you see the bear is not sleeping. Not like we are sleeping with closed eyes and such. They are much more awake, but part of the period of the day they are making sleeping. So they are not totally asleep, and especially when they have these young cubs, which is sleeping and then waking up and sucking milk in the middle of the winter, all the period through until spring. They are quite active and will step and fight, and they will make a lot of noises. So it's a lot of noise inside a bear den from the cubs. So the mother have a small problem to sleep. Even in the male den, the male is sleeping alone, is also quite much awake, surprisingly much awake. If the bear is getting wet, so there's coming water inside in the den, the bear maybe go out. Normally the bear maybe go out and try to find another sleeping den, but it has a bit of problem maybe to find it, and then it has to be awake for a long until the summer. But so that is not very good, because then if the bear wakes up too quickly, it will use much more fat from the body to make surviving. This is the picture from 1st of March. So 7th of March, you see the bear cub here and the mother. The eyes is open. She is trying to puzzle with the cub or the cubs, or trying to get them to be a little bit quiet so she can rest. So here the female, the mother has turned around. This is her back leg, and this is one cub, and this is the other cub, and the cubs are fighting. So it's not nice for the mother to try to rest and save her energy. So normally the bear is not leaving the den from October until the middle of April, or for this case, the mother with the cubs until the beginning of May. So it's a long period of staying inside. This is actually on the Women's Day, 8th of March. So here you see the bear cubs moving and making noise and being active. And you can maybe see that they are grown and become bigger compared to the picture from 28th of February. So you see already after a couple of weeks they have been growing quite quick. So first they grow quite slowly, and then they grow much more quicker. So from 200, 300 grams to 5 kilos in 4 months. That is much more than we can grow. So here you see very active youngsters. So this is the nose of one of them, and this is the nose of the other one. And they, like you saw on the other picture, the claws is very, very sharp, and the teeth is also sharp, and they are biting the mother, they're biting themselves, they are fighting, they are turning and twisting and making a lot of noise. And then they are suckling, and then drinking the milk, and try to drink milk. And then the 2 cubs is trying to get the attention from the mother as they are pushing her. So you see the eyes of the mother, the nose of the mother, one bear cub and the other bear cub climbing on the 28th of March. So it's getting closer to spring. And they are a little bit, they're growing. So they grow only by drinking the milk of the mother. So the babies gain all this energy from the mother. So from from they was made inside the mother until they are going out of the den in May, they are increased by 5 kilo, and 5 kilo only from the milk of the mother. And then if the bear is having 1 or 2 or 3 or even 4 cubs, this makes a lot of energy that is from milk that is going to the cubs. Usually we think that it has been measured and calculated and all such. So normally we say that one bear cub use 15 to 20 kilos of blubber from the mother. So the mother that is going to give birth to cubs need to have a very, very big layer of fat to make the milk to the cubs. And then the happy cubs can go out and start the activities outside, and they are playing usually for 1 or 2 weeks quite close to the den until the snow is melted away, and they can be more moving freely, and then the mother will like to walk. In the high north, the snow is rotten, melted in the day, but in the night it will freeze, so you will have a crust, just like you saw on the other one of the first picture with the mother and cub picture, where the ice was melting and then frozen again during the night. So the track that you saw earlier, that was approximately 3 or 4 hours old tracks. Well, but these cubs are very active and talks a lot, and you can hear the different sounds even quite far away. So, and the mother tried to the babies a little bit because she wants to get the attention away from the male bear. The bear cubs is, like we said, born in December, January, in the middle of the winter. But the mother is making the mating with the bear male something in normally in June, July. But however, if the bear cubs is killed by a bear male, the cubs the female, after she loses the cubs, will go into a new production of egg after 10 days to approximately 10 days. And then the male can mate with her and make new cubs later on. But all the summer and all the autumn, and they are just these young eggs that has been fertilized. They are not developing. It's delayed implantation. So they are not developing to full embryo. They are only like an egg stage. And then in the end, when the mother is going to the den to sleep, then she starts to produce the fetus from this egg, to start to develop the young bears inside, and then giving birth to them. So that happens after October, actually. So they can take care of the eggs that have been fertilized and a little bit developed inside in themselves during the summer and the autumn, and then in the winter they will start to make developing of the young bears that grows that quickly. So all you see here is just from the milk of the mother. And of course she will serve the cubs during the summer, during the autumn, and even until next year with milk. So even in the second year, they will be having some milk. There's a little bit of discussion about bears and bears making hibernation or bears making winter sleep. Hibernation is more or less regarded as being totally, let's say, deep sleeping with a lot of reduction of temperature of the body and reduction of the heartbeat and all such, and reduction of breath. So usually we say that bats and porcupines and such is having hibernation and making hibernation, while the bears, the brown bears basically, is making winter sleep. Also the female polar bear, when she is going to have cubs, is making a type of a winter sleep. The male polar bear is not much making such winter sleep, maybe for a few small period, but not like the brown bear at all. But there is a lot of similarities. So anyway, the hibernation and winter sleep has about 4 phases. In hibernation, you have to eat to increase the fat layer that you are going to use to feed upon, in a way, to use as a food reserve during the winter sleep or the hibernation. And the bear is getting this fat and by basically eating blueberries in the autumn. So blueberry is very, very essential to get the fat. So then the bear can eat, like you have heard, maybe 90 liters of blueberry per day, and it grows with approximately 5 to 8 kilos of blubber per day, depending a little bit on how much they are eating. But they make a lot of energy into fat. And the interesting thing with the fat which they are making is that this is the unsaturated fat, and some of this is the brown fat. This fat, which is then making the big bellies and filling all the body, actually on the limbs, on the arms and the legs, so to say, on the chest, everything of the bear can be several inches, several centimeters, up to more than 10 centimeters of fat. So a big bear can have more than 150 kilos of fat. Most mothers need then, like we said, 15 kilo for each cub. If you have 2 cubs, that means 30 kilos, and plus for the food for herself, or energy for herself, which is nearly of the same. So she needs at least 45 kilo, otherwise she will, the babies will die. The cubs will die. And she also need to have some energy left for the spring, so she is not totally exhausted. But okay, in this preparation phases, which is from August to October, they make this fat, unsaturated fat especially, and the point with this unsaturated fat is that this has a lower melting temperature compared to normal fat, just like we have. Some of us have, and especially babies and people from South America and some other places, have much more brown fat compared to us Europeans. But this fat is melting by lower temperature, so you don't need to be so warm to have the transformation of the fat. Yes, that's important. Fat is not only fat. And then they have a starting of sleeping, making a den or making a place where to sleep, and start to reduce the activity of the body. This is valid both for the hibernation and for the winter sleep. But then we came to a hibernating period. And in hibernating period, we can, for the bears, I think we can call it winter sleep more. In hibernating, like the bats, they are looking just like dead. They are totally not very close to stiff. They are not frozen, but they are a little bit not moving muscles. The muscle is totally reduced in activity, so they are not flexible and such. So it's just like a chicken in the refrigerator. They are during the cold temperature periods, the body temperature is just about 0. That's for the hibernating. For the bears, that is a little bit different. I will come back to this. The heart is working very uneven, unrhythmical, so it's not making a beat, 1 beat per minute, 2 beats per minute, or whatever. And the breath is very uneven. And sometimes there's long periods between every breath that is made. And for hibernation, the wake up is very slowly. Can take a few hours, it can take a day before they can wake up really. The bears, they are very different. Like we saw from the other pictures, they are actually more or less awakened, but not totally. So the bear is having a body temperature that is reduced a little bit, normally by 4 or 5 degrees below the normal temperature. So in bears, then the winter temperature in the north is of the temperature of the body is something like 33 degrees. So they are not reduced to 0 or close to 0. And then it's basically in the quiet period, then this is valid. In the rest of the period in the den, the temperature is a bit higher or much higher or nearly close to normal, depending on the cubs. Because one of the things for the mother is she needs body temperature to produce the fat into milk. And then the process to make all the milk that the cubs is needing every day, that need her to be higher temperature to have higher production. That is a small thing. The heartbeat of a bear is normally by 40 to 50 beats per minute. And when they are sleeping, the bears make 8 to 10. When they are awake, like the bear, that the mother bear that you saw in the den with on the picture earlier, the heartbeat is something like 20 to 30. But a male sleeping, it's like 10-ish. What is your heartbeat rate when you are sleeping? That's a question. Something like this, actually. We are not sleeping this, so they are sleeping a little bit deeper than we, in a way. And then there is a lot of changes, or several changes in the blood. So there's these components of the blood is usually higher, and then the white blood cells and these other things is a little bit less. That has a lot of different meanings, which we will need to take another lecture about to tell about. And then the plasma of the blood is also falling. That means that some of the productions in the body is reduced to save energy. One of the specialities of the brown bear and also the polar bear to some extent, but especially all the brown bears, is that the blood vessels is made inside in the walls of the blood vessels. They are made so that the lipid and fat acid is not going to attach, not to stick on the wall of the inside in the blood vessel. That makes that the blood is not getting thrombus, or they get blood clot, so the blood is not coagulating inside in the blood vessels. That makes these illnesses that can happen with humans. So they have much higher resistance and specialize their body to be transporting blood slowly. And also that the fat that is released from the blubber and going to the different system is going to, the fat is not going like pieces of fat, it's going as part of molecules. So molecules is catching up the fat and transporting this. That should be clear. But these molecules with fat is not then aggregating and clogging and blocking the blood vessels. The bear do not urinate. All water that the bear is losing is only by the breath, exhaling. So when you breathe, when it's cold outside, you can see the damp from your breath. That is the water particles that is cooled down. And the same with the bear. So, but bear is having much less water in the breath compared to us. And also the nitrogen element in the blood is reduced compared to what we have. These nitrogens is going to be the urine components. So therefore it doesn't need so much. And the kidneys in a bear is much different than in us. So we have one kidney in a way. The bear is having lots of small kidneys inside in the kidney. That is recycling the water much better, much more efficient compared to our kidneys to get out the urine. And also the bear is not shitting. It's not making poo inside in the den. Not even the cubs. That's very, very rare that the cubs is making shit. So all the things that the cubs is eating is more or less getting into the body. Also the urine. So this is waiting to pee until the spring. Think about that. When you are a kid and you don't go to toilet for 4 or 5 months. That's impressive. And then the adults don't go to toilet for 7 months or 8 months. That is impressive. How can a body survive so long? So when and they don't eat while they're in the den, so therefore all the things from the intestine is ending up in the anus as a big shit. And this prop or this big shit is a little bit problematic for the bear when they start in the spring to go out, and then the bear is itching the back to everything and trying to shit, and you see they have a lot of activities to try to get out these hard pieces of shit of the feces. And that is a very important thing. So until the bear has been shitting for the first time in the spring, it is said to be quite aggressive, irritated. Another interesting thing by just to mention the shit, the shit is usually taking some hours to get out, or a couple of days. The bears, not even the mother, get osteoporosis. This is the illness or the phenomena that make the bones in the skeletons to be weak, because you lose the calcium from the bones. If any of us is going to lay down, our muscle will be retarded during a long staying in a bed, like for some months, or have your leg or your arm in cast. The muscles will disappear quite much. They will be retarded, and also the calcium in the body will be deficiated. That will be decreasing, will be less. That means the bone will be losing up the calcium to get the other processes to continue in your body. But the bear doesn't. The bear keeps the strong bones and even growing the bones during the winter sleep. But they have hormones that regulate the calcium content in the blood, and these hormones is kept low. Normally the female bear will lose approximately 40% of the body weight, that is the blubber, during the winter. And normally male will lose approximately 20 to 25% of the body weight. And this is only by the fat. The muscles can be actually developing, or is in most of the young bears, this will be developing the muscles, and also in bears that have been having wounds or injuries, the wounds will grow very, very good when they are in the den. And that is important for us to know when we are thinking about medicine, when we are thinking about how to go to March to Mars, to the planets, to the universe, then how to use these knowledges that we can get from the bear into our type of medicine. What is the genetic things? What is the physiology components and the biochemistry? So the bear hunting actually is a part of the different cultures in a lot of areas in Europe. And some people, some groups of people is hunting the bear in the winter when the snow is good to walk. So then you can search to see for the small hole above the bear. Then there is always a small opening where the air is circulating a little bit in, not much, but a little bit. So they are getting that is made by the heat from the breath and the water vapor that is going up and melting the small chimney, so to say, out. And this was looked for by Sami and other people, where to find the bear, where to locate the bear, and they also had the dogs and all these things. And then they hunted the bear, and the bear is not like the bats. And you saw from the other picture that the bears is more or less awake in the den. So when you disturb them by something, then they will be angry quite quickly, and they will come out to defend themselves and getting angry because of the happenings of these things. And then they became hunted, and bear was very important in a lot of ways. It's a lot of culture things telling about the bears. So in some culture, the bear was understood as a type of people that has been degenerated to be wild again, so they are not civilized in a way. So they was regarded as people and not eaten, but still killed, because they killed the sheep of the people or the other cattle or such, or there was a threat to humans. That happens sometimes. But also the bear was, in other culture, the bear meat was very important. And also the bear had a lot of phenomena of the blubber. So the blubber was very rich for medicine purposes. You can drink it to get infections away. You can heal your stomach if you had been stabbed by knife. Then you was eating bear fat. And then if you have osteoporosis, you have illnesses in your shoulder, your backs and such, you can use the cream of bear fat. And also making soap of bear fat. So the people made soap that you can heal your skin to get your skin better. That was some of the things. Today we don't use the bear of such, but we are interested to try to find out what was this component that the people used in so many cultures for medicine. What is this? What was this actually? So here you see a bear den. This is a bear den, like I said, is not too big, so I couldn't come in there. These young ladies just barely managed to go in there. You see part of the mattress of the bear, and inside in this den, under this young lady, there was one bear mother with 2 cubs. And you see the bear has been biting this pine tree here. She has been knocking down and moving the terrain. Sorry, yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm soon finishing. So, and you can see other tracks outside. Then you see the tracks from the cubs in the spring while she was there. So on this photo, this was her place to sit, and here you see the bear cubs have been walking and such in the early spring. The early spring is important by the berries that is left from the last year. So that was in the north. The amount of this berry is very important in the spring for food for the mother, as well as food for the cubs, and also the other part of the green things here, the herbs, is food for the bear. The male bear and single females may be killing sick animals like this moose. This is typically killed by a bear. The bears, after it wakes up, it can, after half an hour, it can run down a moose and kill it, and then start to eat and have to feed it on it, especially if the moose is sick or suffer from some illnesses or have bad condition of food. And actually the bear has a big appetite. A moose like the one you saw of 250 kilo can be disappearing just in 1 week. 250 kilos of moose. So this is, you see the part of the leg and a bit of the hide. So this was a big bull that was killed. It was sick and had been breaking his leg, but it was eaten within 10 days. So in the end, it was only these things left from the jaw and a part of the skull and a little bit here and there, and that was all. And you see this is the bear shit. And here you see a lot of calcium hairs from moose and such. So this is a bear that has been enjoying the feast of moose in the early spring. The bears waking up is fantastic to see. They are moving, they are playing, they are jumping, rolling, and here you can see the foot of the bear. So they just like our inside and our palms. How they are moving, they have different feet in the different speeds. And then during the summer, the bear cubs will develop and enjoy the summer. Maybe not all of them will survive, depending on different things, like meeting other male bears. But hopefully, they will be going to bed again and wake up the next spring again. So, thank you.